because if that auto-renewed, I would burn GameStop to the ground. I would go to every boomer-ass brick-and-mortar shop and burn it to the ground.
Everything's on.
Oh, you're recording. Ugh.
We're a whole minute in now.
Oh, a whole minute in. Welcome to Saint Aubin Central. Today I want to talk about GameStop. It's a dog shit company. That's for sure. I went in to get a Series X, and there's been a huge shortage of the Series X for a while. And I think things have finally started to slow down. Walk into GameStop to get it. I called ahead. They said, yeah, they had like a couple in stock. Went to the dude, super nice guy. And I was like, yeah, I'll take that. And then he hits me with a curveball. He's just like, well, actually, in order to buy the Xbox, you have to become a member of it's called Power Up program, which is fucking dumb, dude. It's dumb. And I was so thrown off at the fact that this failing company is going to put barriers in front of you for you to buy product.
The audacity.
I couldn't believe it. Listen, the entire world was behind GameStop during the Reddit years. Everyone was buying GameStop. Fuck these hedge funds. Let's stick it to them. Yo, go GameStop, go AMC. The whole world was behind you. And then when people stopped caring about you, you pivoted and made a horrible decision. I had to pay $15 for a yearly membership. And it's not that expensive, but it's the principle. It's the principle. The fucking fact that I had to pay a $15 membership. I gave their employee so much shit, he signed it out and then he canceled it for me so it won't auto-renew. Because if that auto-renewed, I would burn GameStop to the ground. I would go to every boomer-ass brick-and-mortar shop and burn it to the ground. I was so lit. I was so mad. I was very close to just going to Best Buy and buying it, but I didn't know. I think I called a couple GameStops and they didn't have them, so I didn't know if a store had them. Well, they finally got it, so let's get it. But I felt so bad for this guy because he's just like, hey man, it's corporate, whatever. So GameStop, shame on you for making people buy a stupid membership in order to buy an Xbox Series S. Shame on you. No, your company's gonna fail. Your company will fail because you don't make anything. All you do is sell product. And now that the internet exists, you're not going to last. Sorry there, pumpkin.
Zhuzh up the deal? Were they $15 get you this?
So yeah, it's like you get 15, it costs $15 and then I think you get $5 a month in store credit essentially. It's not even good. At least AMC, they basically revamped Movie Pass, which was the greatest company to ever exist.
It was a
God
steal.
Bless Movie Pass. If you don't know what Movie Pass was in the golden ages, which was probably about the first 2 months. You paid $10 a month and you could go to unlimited movies. Unreal.
Yeah.
It was absolutely unreal. But AMC, you get 3 movies a week. I think you get free upgrades. You get some other stuff too. So it's actually good. GameStop, it literally looks like they've done no research or tried. They're just like, let's do a membership for $15 a month. What do they get? Let's give them $5 a month. You sound like a grandpa handing out toothbrushes at Halloween. Here you go, kids. Nobody you take it because you feel bad. But I don't understand. GameStop's done. They're done. I feel bad for them.
Cancel them.
I don't want to cancel. Well, I mean, I don't know. I don't want them to be done. I would like them to innovate, but what are they going to do? They don't make anything. They're simply a middleman. And when I went in there, the employee looked like he hadn't seen somebody in 6 days. I was his first human contact in 6 days. So it's like, I don't know. It's over, but that's fine. My career is over anyway because I play Halo nonstop. I can't stop playing Halo. Every time I go to like work on music, I like open up Ableton, and then it's like loading, and I'm like, it's taking too long. And then I play Halo for 3 hours. I'm obsessed, dude. I'm so obsessed with Halo Infinite, even though they definitely have some like huge problems. I don't understand what's up with like 343. They're like, it's almost as if they just thought people would love the game because it's Halo. You know, it's kind of like if a celebrity got up on stage for stand up, you know, for the first 3 minutes, people are loving it. And then 4 minutes comes in, it's just like, oh, they don't know what they're doing. This is embarrassing. And that's exactly what happened. Like when Infinite came out, people were like obsessed with it for like a few weeks. And then all of a sudden it's just like, hey, when's like the campaign didn't drop? And then they pushed that back, and then there was no co-op, and then the Forge, which is basically like Fortnite's creative, where you can just kind of make up your own game types, that messed up, and then they had desyncing issues, and then they just like, it's like they didn't try at all, and it's annoying. But I love it. I still play. I play way too much. I haven't worked on a song in 3 months because I play Halo. So sometimes I'm like, maybe I should just be a gamer. Saint Aubin music, no more. Just Saint Aubin gaming, huh?
Do you have the chops? You got the chops?
I'm probably more entertaining than I am skilled at Halo. I'm more entertaining. But I don't know, I'm getting much better now that I have because I was playing on the Xbox One, which you don't even understand the difference in play. Like, this is what the difference is playing Halo on the Xbox One versus the Series X. Imagine you've had sex your whole life with a condom on, and then one day you don't have the condom on, and you're like, oh, this is way better, you know? But you didn't know. It was still good. It was still enjoyable. That's the best comparison for playing Halo on the Xbox One to the Series X.
Man.
It's way better. And now I have like a monitor. I have a curved monitor.
Whoa.
It feels nice, man. I'm like, dude, I could be a streamer. Why wouldn't I be a streamer?
You could do that next to your selling bathwater on the internet.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
I could sell my farts in a mason jar. A lot of people doing that. A lot of people are doing that. And they're making crazy amounts of money.
Oh.
And it's like the depths of the internet, you know? Like in Christian doctrine, they always talk about like in Christian doctrine, there's a big philosophy called the depravity of man. And there was a time I was like, that's a bunch of horse shit. And then I got on Reddit, and then you're like, oh yeah, this one's for
That's
sure
what God was
real.
talking about.
This is for sure real. What kind of human buys a stranger's farts, dude? That's so weird. But hey, man, whatever you want to do, man, love is love. Gosh. Oh my goodness.
Hey, don't yuck someone's yummy, Trevor, okay?
What's that even mean? Yeah, man, you could do what you want, dude. I don't care. I don't care. Nobody cares.
When would you care, though? Like, how much money do you start caring about that person's well-being? Like, someone spends $10 on a jar of farts. You're like, that's no harm.
This is when I start caring about people's well-being. When you watch a few episodes of Doomsday Preppers and people spend their entire retirement on a bunker underground. That's when I'm like, Bubba, like, hey dude, you need some friends. Like I'm like a low-key prepper. Like I may or may not own weapons. I may or may not have a food supply and a water supply somewhere.
Oh my gosh.
Hey, okay, yeah, listen. When you come to me, you're like, Trevor, feed me. I'm gonna take a hot dump on your head. I'm like, eat that shit.
Yeah, I'll be coming right to your door when there's a
100%,
crisis.
dude. But it's like, but I'm not like, oh, the apocalypse is gonna happen. Walking Dead. That's not me. Like, I think the most likely scenario is some sort of like mass power outage or something like that. Or like, I mean, theoretically, there could be like a food shortage or something. I mean, if you looked at COVID, do you see? And it's like I'm not worried. I'm not worried about 96% of the world. I'm worried about that 4% who's crazy and fills their truck bed with toilet paper. That's who I'm worried about. But then once they do that, then everyone else has to react to them because they're crazy.
It's true.
Oh my gosh. God bless America.
Did you watch the new South Park that came out?
I didn't.
The post-COVID
Did they have
special?
Uh-uh.
It's really good. I won't necessarily spoil it, but essentially all the kids, like it's like in the future and they grow up and it's them in like their 40s and stuff. And it's
really?
post-COVID. And they try to go back in time to see how they can stop COVID from happening and ruining the world. And they find out that it really wasn't COVID that ruined the world and their friendships, just the way they reacted to COVID.
It's people.
And
people are always the problem.
The moral of the story of the episode, I love it, is they just need to cut each other some slack. And that's the end of the, it's just like, all we gotta do is just cut each other some slack. That's my new motto.
I've never been into South Park. I feel like it's, yeah, I mean, I missed the train, you know?
It's still going.
And now, like, people are, like, there was a train, but now people are using airplanes. It's like, why would I get on a train? I got an airplane, you know? Yeah, I mean, that's probably right. I mean, people are losing. Okay, so so I follow some friends on social media, particularly in light of like Roe versus Wade and stuff like that. It's so interesting to me. One of my friends who defines himself as a leftist, which I feel like if you define yourself by a political party, you're a loser. That's how I feel. I love you. I'll be your friend. But if your identity is a political party, Bubba, you got to change something. Like, you know, go hug a tree, go take an art class, or maybe not an art class. Go do something. Like the world, politics will just pollute your mind. So just if your identity is a political party, you know, you need to go to rehab or something like that. But he was going off about how this country is run by fascists. And I was just like, interesting. And then I went to some of my right-wing friends, and they say that fascists are trying to take over and infiltrate our education, our school. And I'm just like, what does fascist mean? How can everybody be a fascist? Everyone's calling everybody a fascist. And it doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
I have no idea either, to be honest.
Do you know what I'm talking about? And this is, I feel like the world is just going crazy calling people names. First of all, if you want to change someone's mind, don't call them a name or make fun of them. They're immediately going to get defensive and you're not going to change their mind. But this is my fear, man. It's like people are they throw terms around and they don't know what they mean. And then by default, it actually like hurts the term. Where it's just like, oh, if there's actual fascism happening, like people don't. It's like the boy who cried wolf.
Yeah.
You just keep saying stuff, but I'm just like, it can't just be me. I get so worked up about this. It's just like, you know, talking to something like my dad. He's just like, the fascists stole the election. You know, I'm like, yo, dude, like who's the? And then my friend's like, your dad's a fascist. I'm like, what? Are we just surrounded by fascists? I would imagine there was a time in history if you were going around and just like, there's fascists everywhere, you would be put in a mental hospital. You know?
You'd think they're everywhere at this point.
You would think so,
Everybody.
but it's just like, and it's the problem, in particular with Roe v. Wade, it's like, people, if you're in a different tribe, you're not communicating with that person. So somebody's idea, like they see my dad, and he voted for Trump. And then they connect all the other dots that is confirmation bias for them to think this person, oh, your dad's also racist, a fascist, and this and that. And I'm just like, listen, stereotypes don't work very well. Ask any minority. They'll be like, yeah, I don't really like it when, you know, growing up, people be like, hey, can you help me with math? And I'm like, Hey, buddy. I didn't get that gene. All right. My black genes took over a little bit, so not very good at math. No, but it's just I don't know. I think that's my biggest concern with like our country is that like we're more and more siloed into our belief systems and nobody's like communicating. None of my Republican friends really know any socialists. None of my socialist, like Democratic socialist friends know a Republican. And the one that they know, it's their fucking drunk uncle who just going on about QAnon. That's the one they know. And they see, yeah, they're all the same. They're all the same. Again, how does that stereotype work for minorities?
It's always everybody else.
It is.
It's not
And
your
it's
own
just
crew.
like, man, we're like, I feel like I harp on this all the time. And that's basically me on Twitter. I remember when, this was years ago, I think Abbott in Texas did some sort of bill that would like investigate organizations that assisted in child like transitioning or whatever. And my conservative like feed was just like, they're like, we need to protect children. This is horrible. And then I'd go on some like liberal feed and they're like, we need to protect children. This is horrible. And I'm like, what? Like they're both protecting children, but they both don't mean the same thing.
Yeah.
So it's just like the world is so absurd. People are just, they're like, I don't know. It's hard for me to understand, but everyone's just in their own bubble and they don't realize that they both don't really make sense or they both haven't really thought it through.
Just think about the amount of people out there, too. I mean, there's just like millions of people have no idea, not tuned in.
Yeah.
Just can barely drive a car
100%.
correctly.
And that's my problem. Like when I have a conservative buddy, like every time he looks at gas prices, he's like, tell your friends who voted for Biden, thanks. And I'm like, hey, Bubs, nobody voted for Biden, unfortunately. People voted against Trump. And that's what our elections are. Like we vote against something. We don't really vote for anything.
It's not like we had a whole crowd of people to pick and we were all just like, yep. How about that old guy, that old plastic bag
how
in the
about that
back?
old geriatric, who's got dementia, probably, allegedly. Nobody knows,
I'll take the guy falling off his bike in the back.
Dude, have you seen him like wandering in like the White House gardens? He looks like an old man who escaped from the home and is just like, have you seen Gertrude? And it's just like, I don't know. But same thing with my like. If my friends voted for Trump, it's not because they're racist. It's because they wanted a better tax break. Like, that's it. And that's like, but unfortunately, if you vote for one side or the other, you have to take everything else that goes with it. Like, maybe another party. I don't know.
I mean, what about like Apprentice fans? Like they were in a tough spot in 2016,
100%, dude.
right? Like everyone loved the Apprentice back in 2006 and whatnot. And suddenly it's like, oh, your favorite TV celeb. What do?
I know.
You have the whole DVD box set of Apprentice.
It's over. Do you think he'll come back? Come on, dude. That'd be a spicy show. They should have done Apprentice White House edition.
I don't know why they didn't. They'd make money.
Apprentice White House edition with Trump.
Oh, yeah.
That would be the most entertaining. Just like bringing up the Secretary of State. You fired. You fired. That'd be amazing.
Today's challenge.
Yeah. Oh, man.
You need to fix the economy by Saturday.
Yeah. And if you don't, you fired. That's amazing.
Oh,
I don't know. Are you playing with the fidget spinner?
I'm just fidgeting with your camera lens thing over here.
Oh, I thought that was a fidget.
No.
I'm just like, dude, am I boring you that much?
I always have to fidget.
Dude, I was talking to a friend. They're like, there's a difference. I think about this a lot. There's a difference between being hungry and being thirsty. Hunger is like, I want to work really hard and I'm going
like
to put my head down. No, like I think hunger's good. Thirsty, it's just like, yo, dude, you need to chill out. I have like a few friends that I think of. They want a music career so bad. Like so bad. They would sell their left nut in order to sign that record deal, you know? And it's like, but I would imagine it's similar to women when they see a guy who's just like needs to be in a relationship, you know? They like pick up on that. They're like, come on, man, this is disgusting. You know, it's gross. It's a little, when they're like, when you can just, you can like smell the fumes off them, like, oh, this person is desperate. And they will do anything. And that's what I have some music friends, man, they are desperate. And they will do anything. And they stink. I can smell the desperation on them. Like, be hungry, man. Be driven. Have a plan. Work hard to accomplish that plan. But don't go, like, whore yourself out just to, like, get a record deal. You know? That doesn't seem to be work. Like, use the tools. I think that the challenge is like, to be an independent artist, it takes a ton of work because you're doing everything. You're doing the marketing, you know, you're creating the content, you're writing songs, you're doing everything. But a record label, I mean, all you have to do is create, and then a record label will do it. But I don't know. I just don't know if it's worth it to sign away like ownership.
Would you sign a deal ever?
Whoa, jeez, what the hell is going on? Damn demon. Fuck, what was that?
Old man, I don't know. Jeez.
I have like heartburn.
It was like a burp.
I haven't
It's
even eaten today.
That was like your internals.
I haven't even eaten today, and
you just started talking about hunger and thirst. Your body was like prepping, like, oh,
yeah, everybody's like, oh, we're getting ready, getting ready.
Fire up the engine, getting a lot in, shovel it in.
Oh my gosh. I would never say never to a record deal. It would just have to work. Like, I don't want to sell away like my rights, you know, I don't want to sell my ownership. I don't want to get like a loan that I have to pay back. It's not worth it to me. And like, there is some stuff like, you know, Tom Segura and like they got YMA, like Your Mom's House Studios. They just started a podcast with Danny Brown, if you know who he is. He's a rapper.
Yeah,
but
great.
He's like a big goofball. He's actually kind of an inspiration for me, like, because he writes serious songs.
He's hilarious.
But he's just a goop, you know? And so, like, I'm kind of, like, watching him. I'm like, okay, how can I mimic? Because I write serious songs. But, people think I'm a comedian, you know? But I'm not. I write songs. I'm a musician, bitch. But yeah, they just signed him to do a podcast, and I was like, "Oh, that would be interesting to do something with like a smaller independent outlet." But I don't know if I would sign a deal. It would just have to be the right deal. At this point, probably not, because I don't have any leverage. I have no leverage. If I have a fan base and I've actually made some money, then I have leverage. But it would probably. If I had a deal sent to me now, like, it would more be a indicator that I'm doing the right things. But I don't know. It depends, dude. There's some days where I'm like, I'm thirsty. I'm just like, I just want to have a career. I want to quit my job, and I just want to write and do everything. But now it's like, because like I'm taking my musical career. It's just like, yeah, I write songs, but I also podcast. And then I'll probably and then I do YouTube. I do all these other things. I'm like, are they going to take a piece of all of that? You know? I don't know. Do you think it's worth it?
They probably do. I would assume.
Well, I know a lot of them take 360 deals. I mean,
they just take all your content.
Pretty much.
I don't know any of the ins and outs, but I would assume that if you're part of like their organization, that every content, every like piece of media you put out is. You know, they gotta get something from it. But.
Yeah, and that's just not like I wanna own my stuff.
I do think there's like a certain badge of honor that still comes with it. Like you just say it, like, oh, I signed it, and like you immediately get that like recognition. You know.
Well, like it's like old because it's old world. You know.
Yeah, it is.
Like if I was like, hey, I'm gonna be on CNN, people would be like, oh, cool. But in reality, just like why? You know. Same thing with record deals. It's like, but there is there is like the old world validation of, hey, these people with a lot of money and influence and success see something in you, and they want a piece of it.
Yeah.
Which sounds nice. I don't know, dude. I mean, it depends on the day, but at least I would hope, and I think I have friends who understand what I'm trying to do and who will help guide me and like be for me, you know, because I mean, one of my good friends, I've written a lot of songs with him, but he's gotten a lot of success, and he sees a lot of our mutual friends, like they're just doing all the old world stuff, and they're so thirsty. They're just like, they're trying to, you know, this is what you used to do. You would go with a producer. You would do some studio time with them, and then hopefully that producer would give you, like, send it to record labels or songwriters or whatever. But it's just like, I just don't think that's, it's just like old. It's like TiVo, you know? Like TiVo was kind of cool, but now it's just like, what?
Would you sign a deal with TiVo now if they give you a TV show?
Dude, 100%. Oh, dude, TiVo. Look at. Are they even a company anymore?
I have no idea.
They probably are. Well, I wonder if like Comcast or something
they
bought
probably
them.
got like merged into something else.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just, but there's like the old world model. I'm just not interested in that. I'm very much interested in the new model of being a musician or a creator, and that's like, it's like, I think it's more in line with like the YouTubers. They just do a bunch of stuff.
Do you think it's almost more like ad based now? Like I feel like people do more like sponsored. Like I see these like little like TikTok and like Instagram people just like getting these big sponsorship.
They got brand deals, dude.
Like they'll do like AT&T, or they're doing like, I don't know, Hello Fresh little segments. You know?
Oh yeah, and that's the thing, dude. It's like if you keep building something, you can get sponsorships and brand deals.
I just think it's crazy. I'll see people who go viral on like TikTok, and then like a month later, they're doing like a Nike segment or like, and they're just some like literally their first and only video is just them in like their bathroom, and then suddenly they're like working with probably elites. It's insane. Probably making crap tons of money.
Yeah, yeah, but I think that's too. It's like, I mean, if you're a creator and a label reaches out to you, it's because you have influence and an audience. Like
it's influence,
you don't need them.
Yeah.
You just keep doing what you're doing, you know? But yeah, so I don't know. Yeah. And I think it's, you have to, if you're trying to have a career, I think you have to be surrounded by people who are willing to tell you no. You know, the old world model is like, do anything to get a record deal. You spend thousands and thousands of dollars on a music video. And like, I've had friends, it's shocking how much they've spent on a music video. And I'm like, excuse me? And guess what? Nobody's heard it. You know? I mean, it's had a few thousand, or maybe it might have been like 60,000, but that's a pinprick, you know, in the world of the internet.
Yeah, you gotta be way up there to go.
And then, dude,
viral.
and then what they do, they hire like a PR company. They pay them a monthly fee of, you know, $1,000 a month, hoping that the PR company will get them some write-ups or reviews or whatever. That's crazy to me.
It's a lot of cash.
Like, at least if you're doing like, if you do marketing and stuff, do it on social media, because you get the metrics and the data from it. With PR companies, you don't get anything. They're like, well, we tried here and it didn't work. It's just like, well, what? But what happened? You know, it's, well, especially with like music, dude. Like, there's so many fake playlists out there on Spotify. So many, and then not to mention like the streaming farms that they have. They have like thousands of tablets and phones that are just streaming songs.
You remember those playlists we were like came across a few years ago where they made it look like they were like official Spotify lists? They'd be like US top 100, like like global top 100, and you'd be like, I remember I would just type in like, US top 100. I like to just see what's at the top of the chart just to get an idea. But then they would sneak in like someone's just random single from somewhere. Probably just pay it, and then someone plays a whole playlist. Suddenly they're getting like thousands of hits in a day.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
It's sneaky.
It's sneaky,
kind of genius,
man,
but sneaky.
Like, but I mean, that's nice. But again, and I feel like I say this every podcast, but like, if you don't have real streams, you're not going to sell tickets.
No.
Like, I want to play live. I want to have like an interaction with people. But just doing it on, just getting streams.
No, it's not.
I mean, unless you want a bag,
You need recognition. People's got to like pick you out of a crowd, not just like hear your song randomly or get it farmed.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, you gotta be weary. You gotta put people in your life who will like I feel like that's so big. You need people who are like, hey man, I don't think this is a good idea. Like if I were you, I'm like, hey man, I'm gonna spend like $15,000 on a music video. You'd be like,
sounds good.
He was like, hey man, good job, man.
Ain't my money, okay.
Oh man, yeah. I think it's having like a team is like or just people. But I think I'm like, I don't know. I think it also helps that I'm 30, and I'm over the hump of your 20s where you're like young and scrappy, and you're just like, yo, I need to win.
Oh, it feels so different. 30 now.
30. Don't you kind of feel? I was dreading my 30s. Because I'm just like, oh my gosh, I'm going to be 30 and I'm not young. I can't, like, I have to be careful when I, like, talk to women. Because I'll make, like, a joke. And then they'll be like, he's old. And I'll be like, oh, no.
You have to wait till 30 to make sure that one gets.
Yeah.
28, you were like, yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah, But there's something, I'm 31, so I'm 1 year into it. And it's kind of nice. It's still, like, I still feel like I wish I would have accomplished some stuff, but I'm less like I have to do it. I have to like I'm more comfortable in my own skin, and like if I'm to have a career, I'm glad it would be in my 30s as opposed to back in the day. I would have like burned a bridge. I would have cut you off immediately. I would have cut Fred off immediately. Hey man, you're the real talent of this band. Yeah, I know. See yas. Bye, bubbas. That's probably what I would have done if I would have made it in my 20s.
I like met someone last night that was 23, and I was just like, I'd never felt so old. Like they were like, oh yeah, I'm just like 23. Like it was.
You're
I was like, oh my gosh.
Were they hot?
No.
Oh my goodness.
Like, yeah, 30 feels so different. I mean, it's just like
it's nice. I like it.
I do. I wasn't afraid of my 30s. Like when I was 29, I was not dreading it, but 31 hit because now it feels like I'm in my 30s now, and it feels like your 20s have just completely slipped away. Like I look at myself, like I'll see like a picture of me at like 25, like like so young, like so hopeful.
Like when you're in your 20s, you don't think about your age.
No,
but once you hit 30, and then you're like, oh wait, I remember 10 years ago.
I'm like, I'm gonna need knee surgery in like 10 years.
100%. Like my nipples keep lactating. I don't. Is that a thing that happens?
Yeah, it can happen.
All right. I've been Chatty Cathy today. Thanks for listening, everybody. Go stream my song. I'm almost at 1,000. So go stream it to you 12 people who listen to this. Here I come, Joe Rogan. All right. See ya. Ciao.